It's funny.
Hello and welcome to Pardon the Interception, Season 33, Week 12, with your hosts, Lee Wood.
Nick Taylor.
And Simon Wood.
So we are now had the divisional rounds of the playoffs. So let's get in and take a look and see what happened this week in the leagues.
The business end.
The business end. So
Giving him the business.
Start off with looking at the GFL. So jumps out here, the Black Knights managed to just make it past the Gunslingers. The Wraith Raiders game, I think, is closer than anyone really expected, but went the way that most people called it. Steelers being upset by the Wildcats on the road, I think, was big. And
there goes the man with no name.
And the Quake looking quite strong. So if we look back at last week's predictions, Nick, I think you got one game correct here. You chose the Wraiths to win.
That's what happens when you put all your opinions on helmet colours and logos.
Simon, you got two. You got Wraiths and Quake. I managed to get three with Raiders, Wildcats, and Quake.
Nice work.
I lucked out there. Any more comments on these games before we look ahead to the conference championships games?
So just wondering who's the coach of the Rockets, Lee?
Who's the coach of the Rockets? Let's have a
Off
look,
the top of your head, come on.
It's Paul Mason.
No, the one you couldn't remember last week.
Yeah.
It's good to see that the games are we're all close this week, though.
Yes, definitely.
We're quite used to the G games being, sort of a little bit one-sided. So three of them being 3 points or less, was it? So nice to see.
So looking forward, we've got the Rind Wraiths at the Black Knights and the Wildcats at the Quake. So in terms of bowl predictions, I'm the only one still live for it. So GFL.
I had the Bulls, was it?
You had, Nick, you had the Bulls at the Black Knights Bulls. Simon, you had the Wraiths and the Steelers.
Simon, 50%, right?
You still can be. Simon, it's your turn to go first in the GFL this week.
Have you seen the spread of the Wraiths Black Knights? It's quite impressive.
We can take a look.
The spread is 16.
Which way, though? To the Black Knights. That's a big spread.
Yeah, but the Wraiths have two players that are demolished, but the Death Knights have a lot of players that are demolished. There are three running backs with injuries. I don't know if any of those are starting.
Two of them have got big injuries. The rest are
it looks
manageable.
Basically, Lewis has a real awful injury. Was that this week?
Mind you, it's interesting because the running backs are injured, but the Wraiths have an OB injured and a safety injured. So you could end up with...
No, Lewis has been out since week 8.
This is interesting then. So the Death Knight's been doing it with no running back. Essentially, it's pretty damn impressive.
Or Jan has how many running backs does he have on the roster? Stevens basically has been the workhorse by the looks of it.
How did they go in the last game? It's always a good indicator.
He had Stevens running for lots of yards, so okay, he's still got a decent running back by the looks of it, despite all those injuries. That's impressive. How do you vote against the big bad wolf?
So you're going with the Wraiths then?
Paining, yeah, I'm going with the Waifs.
And then in the other game,
Quakety Quake, quaking in my boots.
Quake. Then I'm going to go with my bowl prediction. I'm going to go Black Knights, Quake. Nick.
I am going with home field advantage here, and Black Knights and Quake.
Okay. And anything else before we move on to the Atlantic? Okay. So looking around the Atlantic this week, the Sharks really did spank the Stallions. Spartans were too good for the Rapiers. The other 2 games were closer. Kendall let me down massively here. So I managed to only get one of the games correct. I chose the Sharks to win. Nick, you got 3 of the games correct: Sharks, Stingrays, and Spartans. Simon, you got all 4 games correct.
Told you my team was a load of
Congrats.
shit.
You win a gym ball. It's right behind you.
Any comments on the any comments on the games this week?
I think like this the point spread is quite big in all of the games. Spitfires have done well there with the away game, and then I think we kind of expected the Spartan. Well, I expected the Spartan, Sharks, and Stingrays to win. Apparently, every team that if you got an S at the start of your
Nickname.
yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Then you've done well this week. I wasn't expecting the Spartans to win by quite so much, or the Sharks to score quite so many points.
Yeah, the amount of points scored there is definitely impressive.
Yeah,
If you looked at did you watch the Spartans game?
I can't remember. If I did, it was a while ago.
The
So.
Spartans won 40-16, and they turned over the ball 7 times,
Jeez.
and their opponent turned it over once.
That's domination.
The domination was even bigger than the scoreline suggests.
Nation of domination.
Yeah.
Right.
It was quite
Anything before we
impressive.
look at the conference championship games?
Go to the conference championship games.
So I'm going to lead off the GFL, GFLA even. This is a difficult one. Who did I say? Who's still alive for the bowl? So Nick, you chose Stingrays and Rapiers. Can't happen. I chose Avalanche, Rapiers. Both my teams are out. Simon chose Stingrays, Spitfires. Simon, you're still alive for the bowl.
Do you know the best thing?
What?
I'm back in the other teams.
So I'm going.
Well, you're either right this week or you're right with your bowl prediction.
I have to go Sharks Spartans off of how well they defeated their opponents this week. I just can't see.
Such a copycat.
Yeah, and you're last, Simon. You just get to be the same as everyone else. Nick.
I'm going home field advantage again. Stingrays and Spartans. The Stingrays might have the right answers for the Sharks, I think, this week.
Simon, you're going Sharks, Spartans.
Sharks, Spartans.
There's a classic sea battle of Sharks versus Stingrays. We have, Spitfires bombing on the Spartans. So really, we should be going Sharks and Spitfires here, I feel, just by their nicknames.
Spitfires are a massive have a massive spread.
They have a massive advantage. They're in planes and the Spartans are just wandering around on the ground.
True. But,
Long bombs.
they are royal.
Yeah.
Anything
Spitfires
else?
running back was pretty impressive last game week. Poland. The old 40-40-20 doing the business.
40-40-20, running back of champions. That sounds like a QST for a Kendall quarterback.
Yeah. It's one of those teams that, if you look at the stats, look terrible, but just seem to smash people.
If you get it right. 40-40-20 allows you to attack multiple zones, right? Might not be the best at a particular zone, but you can, you've got that threat of going either way.
Yeah, and it makes it difficult to defend.
Yeah, because you can adapt. If you think their defense is better at, run flat, you just run line instead. It's quite nice.
And the Spartans have the 20th best offense in the league and the 15th best defense.
That's interesting.
They're smashing face.
It's quite impressive.
Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
TikTok.
TikTok. I would say there's one important thing in the Atlantic League, which you haven't looked at, which is exciting me a lot. If you look at the Pro Bowl voting.
Remember, I can only see the...
You can see both. I'll show you how.
Okay, how do
Click on Pro Bowl voting. No, on the Atlantic. There you go. That will
This one?
Yeah,
the one I did click on and you said no. Yeah.
Whatever. So who's winning there?
Kendall.
Yeah, and if you click on that thing saying CFC select,
Oh yeah, you can see both.
who's winning there?
Simon Wood.
I'm very excited by the opportunity to give Kendall a good kicking.
Yeah, it is definitely worth it.
I'm well up for that. Kendall, you're going fucking down. Assuming it's me it's obviously going to be Kendall on the other side, but it could be Richard, it could be me.
It's close.
It could, yeah.
Kevin could come out of nowhere with a big win this week. You never know. I don't know when the voting stops, to be fair. So.
Yeah.
This week's the last week to vote, I think.
Fair enough.
If it's me, it's going to be the longest time I've ever spent in game planning. Because Kendall, you're going down, you little shit.
Right, on to the biggest Skyus.
Another riveting week.
Definitely a riveting week. The Maroons Titans game being the closest game of all of them, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
So looking at the calls, Rivets obviously was a shoo-in. Nick, you managed to get one game called correctly with the Titans winning.
Well, I backed the Beverly Bay Packers because everyone was going Rivets. So, you know.
That's because you don't know the big sky.
Oh, I'm just living hope most of the time.
Simon,
somebody's got to stop them.
You got 3 because you backed the Rushmores over the Hornets.
Did they not Rushmore?
No. And I got all 4. Pass me the gym ball.
It's under your desk.
Thank you. The Buccaneers showing that they weren't just a flash in the pan last year here, and hopefully not picking up an injury to Davies.
Yeah. Is he the one doing the business for them again?
Let's have a look at the stats. So,
very much so.
Just a little bit.
I think you'll find it was
1 yards per carry.
It's all about Mr. Reply to All rather than Davies.
Simon doing his impersonation of a space hopper.
How was Tripson this week? That's always a
great question.
Have a quick look at.
We haven't looked at Tripson for a while, have we?
No.
He did not do well.
316 passing yards, 6 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, sorry, he's meant to receive. I was looking at him.
That's not enough yards, Lee. Not enough yards, you know.
Touchdowns.
Terrible.
6 touchdowns. Cool. That quarterback rating, 158.
That's pretty impressive. That might be perfect. 90% completion average, 0 interceptions, 8 touchdowns. That's got to be a perfect
0 sacks.
rating.
But there's 10% of passes he didn't complete, so it's not perfect.
Yeah, QB rating though is a weird stat.
Yeah.
Still room.
Yeah.
So, anything further before we look at the conference games?
Let's look at the conference games.
So, Nick, you get to lead us off here.
Oh man, I'm conflicted. I don't want the Rivets to win, but
so you are dead when it comes to your bowl prediction, which was Bay Packers Sharks. Simon, you were Rivets Buccaneers. I was Rivets Hornets.
Well, I'm going. Oh man, I'm going Hornets. The old Schoolmen Giant Hornets.
The one remaining shit helmet. What are you doing, Nick?
Well, the key is that Hornets can sting Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers can't really do very much about that. And then I have to go for the Rivets in the other game. Can't see the Titans having enough to get into the game.
Simon.
Oh, it's Buccaneers Rivets. I told you the bowl game already. Come on. Did this weeks ago. Weeks ago.
As much as I want to go different than Nick, I have to go Hornets Rivets because my bowl prediction's still alive.
Davies will be all over the swarming giant Hornets. Davies will be swarming all over them.
Yeah, but if he gets stung, then
it's a classic battle though. Davies versus Tripson.
It is.
Battle of the running backs, one running it, the other catching it. We'll see which one can. See which one.
If Adrian wins, can everyone send him an email congratulating him, please?
Right. Anything else before we move on to the Continental?
Let's go Continental.
So, The shock here for me was the Badgers losing.
Wasn't a shock for me.
I'm just not used to the Badgers losing. But then the Trojans Bombers game, single point, and then the Westies Classics game, 4 points. In terms of predictions, I managed to only get 2 of these correct. I backed the Bombers and the Westies correctly. Simon, you did the Thunderbirds, the Renegades, and the Bombers. Nick, you managed to get all 4 correct.
Yes, success. Clearly, it's where the better coloured helmets were.
But so yeah, as I said, we have a nice little spread between who's winning each of the leagues currently. I mean, the Trojans Bombers game, 1 point. You've got to feel a bit hard done by the Trojans coming up just a single point short on the road, especially when it's
quite a few turnovers either side as well.
Yeah, it is just
it's just a close game.
It is just a very close game decided. What was the last field goal? It was right at the start of the quarter as well. So the fourth quarter really didn't have a lot of action apart from that one field goal in terms of scoring. But sorry, Simon bouncing up and down is incredibly distracting. And going back and looking at the other games, unfortunately, we've seen that Coach Quantrill is leaving the game and dropping out of with a loss against the coach of the Hulk, who seems to be winning here. For some reason, Simon's waving, but hey,
Waving goodbye to Chris.
Fair enough.
Bye bye, Chris. Have fun.
Okay. Anything else before we move on to the conference championship games?
We just see how Strom did. No, last chance to look at him for the season. 11.9 yards per carry. Not bad. And Guta's thrown it away. Look at that, 1.6 yards per carry.
Yeah.
The ball to Strom, not Anguta. That's what we've learned here.
Look at the Renegade rushing yards. Whoa. 471 rushing yards this week.
Essence was showing Strom how to do it.
Yeah, it was definitely the essence of their win.
Yeah. Whoa. All about the rushing.
Right. So in terms of bowl predictions, Nick, you had the Thunderbirds and the Bombers, so you're still live. I had the Monarchs and Destruction, so I'm dead. Simon, you had the Thunderbirds and Destruction, so you're 50% alive. Simon, you are leading us off with the Continental.
It's going to be an away fest. Renegades and Westies. Easy.
And then I'm going with, I want to go Thunderbirds Westies. I think Gary's going to take it. Nick.
Got to back my bold prediction. We keep going with all of the home teams. Thunderbirds, Brooklyn Park Bombers.
Anything else before we move on to the Atlantic Light?
No, I like the look of that Renegades Thunderbirds game. Should be a good one this week.
Should be a barn burner. If any of the games are as good as the Kansas City Buffalo game from the weekend, we will be happy people.
I only pay attention to the St. Louis games.
Okay, so you don't pay attention to the postseason much then?
I mean, this season I do.
I mean, I can tell you don't pay attention because they don't play in St. Louis anymore.
Oh yeah, there is that.
Is Nick supporting the American Arsenal?
Yes.
He supports the Rams, yeah.
American Arsenal.
Yeah.
I like
But
it.
yeah.
Got a lot of time for that, Nick. You've got good taste. You just got to switch your football.
It's not happening in football, though, I'm afraid.
You'll switch your football to the correct team and we'll all be good.
Already on the correct team.
Yeah, Tranmere Rovers.
Chelmsford City, I'll have you know.
Thought it was Scunthorpe.
Hull United.
Up the use. In terms of the Delta, I don't think there are any shock results here. I think the closest game was the Patriots-Jets game, which went kind of the way I expected it, but don't think anyone else did. In terms of predictions, Nick, you managed to correctly guess the Cougars would win.
Yeah.
I managed to guess the Cougars, the Lone Stars, and the Jets. Simon, Cougars, Lone Stars, Katanas. So it's 3-3 draw for me and you.
If I was never going to back you, even though I knew you were going to win, I thought you'd win. I was never going to back you. Fuck that.
All the home teams won this week.
Yes.
Away teams last week, home teams this week.
Yeah, seems that way. Mind you, you've got to have expected the home teams to have won, I guess.
Yeah, how big the Cougars won, I think, is my only surprise. 40-point margin is a huge margin in any playoff game.
Yeah, that's true. See, St. Louis. So it's following them.
Especially outside, like the wild card week, you're more likely to see bigger margins, in my opinion. But divisional round, usually I'd expect the games to be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Than that.
Yeah, were the Cyclones a little bit of a surprise win last week?
For everyone apart from Simon, I think. So Simon, didn't the Cyclones beat you?
Yeah, the Cyclones beat me.
Yeah, so basically they just got to go lose against the Cougars because you
whoever
can't
won
beat
that
them in
game
the playoffs.
was going to go and lose against the Cougars.
Simon just skipped a week. I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered game planning next week. So
basically decided that you didn't want to get knocked out the playoffs for is it 7th time in a row it would have been?
However, I don't. Too many times. Eric can go fuck off.
I think it was 5 before last season. Then I think you got knocked out by him again. So I think it then became 6.
I got knocked out by someone else last year.
We need to go
Warriors.
investigate this. Let's make sure I don't bring up my entire roster.
It's more fun if you do that.
I mean, I don't want to give Lee any more advantages than he already has.
Oh, it's not going to matter.
The tactic is you bring up your roster and then you play something different. Bottom.
He's going to lose anyway, so I don't really know what he's so worried about. Why are you going that far back?
Going the wrong way.
Because I forgot it puts the most recent one at the top.
Yeah, I lost to Worley in the wildcard round last season.
Okay. Yeah.
And then every season before, for like the 5 in a row or something, I lost to the Cougars. I go 1, 2, 3, 4,
This is impressive.
5. Oh, I lost to the Lajola. Okay. 5.
But yet you still don't have a rivalry with them.
And I haven't given him enough abuse yet.
Oh, no, you have disliked. You're starting the rivalry.
Does that record include the postseason games, the head-to-head record?
I think so.
So you're 5-1 against him, bar postseason games.
I can't do it in the postseason.
Those postseason jitters. Whoa.
Yeah, one of those games, I had my whole offense got like E's, which wasn't good. My team wasn't that great, but still.
So in terms
some of those games might be a bit of a historic thing as well.
Looking at bowl predictions, we had Cougars Patriots from Nick, live for 50% of it. Lone Stars Katanas from me, the boring choice, and Cougars Katanas by Simon. I'm up first, so I feel obliged to go Lone Stars Jets. I just think Aaron's going to pull it out of the bag, unfortunately, considering that he hasn't got to focus on 2 teams in the playoffs because his GFL team is so bad.
How bad?
Very bad.
Okay.
I just think he's going to win that game. And then with the Jets Katanas game, I guarantee you Lee is going to win. I just don't know which.
I was going to say that when you came to me. Had it ready to go.
It's okay. Kendall's already made that joke because we both have running games running up the middle. Kendall already made the comment that whoever has the best DTs is going to win.
Because you've got a pink versus yellow helmet, I'm going to name it the Fruit Salad Bowl.
Okay, it's the Fruit Salad Bowl. So Nick, who do you think is going to win each game?
I've got to stop backing home teams, surely. Cougars Katanas.
So you're only going to stop backing one home.
One so far, yes.
Simondo.
So my heart wants Eric to win and the Cougars to win, but I just can't see it happening. I want it to happen, but I can't see it
I mean,
happening.
what you want to do is Cougars Jets and then have him knock me out of the bowl game so he can have both wood scalps.
It's obviously going to be La Jolla, the clowns of La Jolla against the idiots of Froome. It's guaranteed.
Okay.
Is this as locked in as the rivets in the Big Sky?
Not quite Rivets level, but it's up there.
Okay.
I think there is there is potential for me to upset Froome, but it's going to be difficult. One of his running backs is out with a knee injury.
Oh, his whole team could be out of an injury.
Fair.
Wouldn't make much difference.
I mean, I think my key's got to be I've just got to pass it.
He's off.
Oh, Simon's remembered that he can draw on the screen. And I haven't.
There we go.
So the Cougars are going to getting taken to Clown Down.
Hopefully.
You know, there is an actual text option where you could actually just type.
Yeah, but that's nowhere near as fun.
Okay.
It wouldn't look like a 2-year-old's written it, would it?
I mean, it's your English, so it will always look like a 2-year-old's done it.
That's a much better preview now.
Right, moving on to the Empire with no further ado. Russians Red Bulls, 100 points scored in a playoff game, and it being a close one.
Yeah, that was a good game to watch. Can highly recommend.
Simon really likes the high hunters, it seems.
Sending some love to Postman Pat.
Postman Pat delivering when he needs it most. So in terms of the games, predictions even, Simon, you managed to get 3 correct. You chose the Red Bulls, the Storms, and the Kings correctly. Nick, you did the Hunters, the Red Bulls, and the Storm correctly. And I got all 4 somehow. I'm not entirely sure how, but I managed to do it.
But we all were pretty close on the old Empire.
Yeah, it was the league where we all did the best in.
It's the best league because we all follow it.
The elite league.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the gold standard league to follow. In terms of how competitive it is, I think that might be true. Because there's a lot of teams that were vying for playoff positions.
Yeah, all of the teams competing this week were well up there as well. I was impressed by the Russians this week, though. Very well against the Red Bulls. The Red Bulls have looked pretty comfortable all season.
So let's move on to the championship games. Helps if I turn off annotation. Because I need to keep clearing them before I change page. So in terms of bowl predictions, Nick, you had Hunter's Storm, so still live. I had Red Bulls and R cubed. Simon, you had Jaguars Storm, so you're 50% on still as well. Nick, it is your honour.
Well, got to back my prediction. I fancy the Red Bulls, but got to go with the Jacksonville High Hunters and against the District 12 Storm.
Simondo.
Red Bull Strom. Easy.
And then I'm going to go...
You're going to go Red Bulls Kings.
I think I am going to go Red Bulls Kings, you know.
Kings look good.
Yeah. I mean, all 4 of those teams look good, and all 4 of them can win on their day, I feel.
I think it's the hardest one. It's the hardest one to call. Yeah, definitely the hardest one to call of the leagues, because I can see any of those teams making the bowl.
Yeah, I mean, and the Red Bulls and the Storm looked pretty impressive in the regular season. But since the postseason started, the Jacksonville High Hunters and the Armageddon Kings have looked very good.
The
So,
Kings were looking really strong at the start of the season as well, I think. So I think we had them as a team to watch.
yeah, they had a bit of a blip in the middle of the season. By a blip, I think it was like they lost one game and then the next game they won, and it was a close game or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
not the biggest of blips. Jacksonville High Hunters had a few more issues.
It's all about Postman Pat, though.
Yeah, Pat and Legend. It's the legend of Pat. That is the Jacksonville High Hunters, boy.
Right. Anything else before we move on?
There's the sad news that Bill Bushby of the Kings is leaving town, going out with a bang. Hopefully going out with a bowl game.
That's the way to do it. Leave on a high.
Just mic drop, exit. Big fan of that. Go on, Bill.
Right. So, does anybody have any closing words?
Ooh.
Hey, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.